The night was bitter. My fingers burned as the frigid wind sliced through the seams of my gloves. My body trembled, not from the cold, but from something far more primal. Fear. Not the kind you get when your parents catch you in a lie, or when flashing red and blues pull up behind you on the highway. No, this was different. This was real fear. Ancient, soul-splitting. The kind that lives in the marrow of your bones and waits for a night like this to wake up. I tried to steady my breathing, crouched low behind a bush, every leaf feeling like it crackled with betrayal. My muscles locked up, but the cold wasn't the reason my legs were soaked. The warmth trickling down was my last shred of dignity, draining away with my bladder as I watched a nightmare unfold before me. They weren't human. No, not even close. Two creatures stood over my Uncle Marty, the man who had raised me after my father died. Still, I couldn't call out, I couldn't assist them, I couldn't move a muscle. They had elongated limbs, skeletal and unnatural, fingers like bone-carved daggers, twitching hungrily. Their eyes glowed with a pale, eerie light, locked onto their prey, and their mouths, twisted maws lined with serrated fangs, dripping crimson, my uncle's crimson. I watched, paralyzed, as they tore into his throat. His screams curdled into gurgles, thick with blood, as his windpipe was crushed between their jaws. The sound was wet. Viscera spilled into the grass, steam rising into the night air. Then, one of them spoke.
This crimson treasure of mortals is wasted on their kind. But not to worry, we will make use of it. And soon, we shall invite them to partake in the blessing of God. For such things should never go to waste.
His voice was wet, gravel. The way it said God twisted my stomach. It wasn't a prayer. It was a curse. After they finished their grotesque feast, they rose in unison, basking in the moonlight. It was their altar. And then they began to chant. Low, rhythmic, like a hymn for some forgotten cult. The forest listened. The wind held its breath. And I realized I wasn't just a witness. I was next. And then it spoke again.
I can smell you, boy.
The words oozed from its throat like oil, thick and slow. It chuckled darkly, its head twisting toward me with an unnatural creak. Only its neck moved. The rest of its body remained facing away, statuesque, as if mockingly ignoring the laws of anatomy. I gasped. My body chose flight before I could even think. I launched to my feet and ran, but I didn't get far. One word stopped me cold.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
It wasn't just sound, it was force. The single syllable struck my brain like a hammer. The world tilted violently. My legs locked mid-step. I couldn't breathe. My stomach lurched, and with a violent heave, I emptied everything. My breakfast, bile, even the acid from the pit of my gut splattered across the forest floor. 10 seconds of hell. My vision swam. My hearing was muffled, as though my ears were submerged underwater. And when I came back to myself, they were there. Not 2 anymore, 3. The third stood inches from me. His face pale, familiar. My uncle. No longer my uncle. Blood slicked his chin. His eyes, once warm, once human, were now hollow voids reflecting nothing but hunger. All 3 of them twitched and sniffed at me like ravenous animals circling fresh meat. Their eyes burned with desire for my blood. I stared at my uncle. Tears cut down my cheeks. Unc, what happened to you? He stared back, soulless, still. Then he spoke.
Marty is no longer with us, but don't worry. You'll be reunited soon.
Please, I begged, voice cracking. I don't want to die. He stepped forward and gently pressed a bloody finger to my lips.
Shh. You're already dead. You were born for this. Cattle. Sustenance for those higher on the food chain. That's all you've ever been. So, don't waste your breath, boy.
What are you? My voice was hollow, defeated, spoken not in defiance but in acceptance. My fate was sealed, and I knew it. The creature smiled. Its grin widened, revealing rows of inhuman fangs.
We have many names, many forms. Kappa, Chupacabra, Ghoul, Werewolf, Vampire. What does it matter though? To you, I am deaf.
It laughed, a deep, thunderous laugh that cracked the night like distant thunder. They stepped closer, slowly, deliberately. It was over. I fell to my knees, eyes shut tight. The last fragments of hope drained from my soul like blood from an open wound. I braced for the end, for the slice, the sting, the darkness. But instead, I heard a scream. Not mine. His. I opened my eyes. My uncle writhed in agony. A jagged, blood-soaked object lodged deep in his chest. His blood splattered across my face, warm and all too real. His scream was not human. It curdled the air. The way his limbs curled inward, like a dying spider, was a vision I'll never unsee. And then turned to ash, right before me. I sat, frozen, unable to process what I was witnessing. In that stunned silence, the other creatures began to shriek. Their skin blistered and bubbled as if lit from within, steam pouring from their faces like boiling kettles. A hand gripped my shoulder. Strong, steady, human. An older man stood over me, effortlessly pulling me to my feet. He wore a black tactical vest lined with gadgets I didn't recognize, a gray goatee, a deep scar slicing across his cheek. His presence was calm, unwavering, like he stared death in the eyes 1,000 times and stopped blinking long ago.
You okay?
He asked. I couldn't speak. I thought I was dead, trapped in some hallucination while the creatures drained me.
You're fine. You weren't bitten,
he said, matter-of-factly. Then, without missing a beat, he turned to face the remaining monsters. They hissed, seething with fury.
You've taken so many. We will have you, Hunter.
The man didn't flinch, didn't blink.
Not today.
With that, he lunged. In one smooth motion, he drew a gun and fired. One shot pierced the heart of the first creature. It howled in anguish before disintegrating into a heap of dust. The last one dodged, snarling and lunged with its razor claws swiping wildly. But the man, the hunter, was faster. He danced between each strike with effortless grace, reading every movement, staying just a breath out of reach. I swear, I saw it. The smirk on his face. He was enjoying it, toying with it. Then, he reached into his vest and pulled out a pair of spiked brass knuckles. He uncorked a small vial and poured its contents over the metal. The air sizzled as the liquid made contact. Now, it was his turn. He charged, fists like meteors, and struck the creature in the side of the head. The spikes sank deep. The monster dropped, twitching violently. The hunter didn't stop. He pummeled it again and again until his face was pulp. Then he drew a wooden stake from his vest and drove it into its chest. It shrieked, twisted, evaporated. Silence. The hunter stood, cleaned the blood from his knuckles, and walked back to me. His expression was unreadable. Go home, he said. Then he turned and vanished into the night, like he was never there at all. They'll never believe me. No one will. But this is my truth. Believe it or not, there are devils walking among us. And there are angels, armed to the teeth, keeping them at bay.